We got a ton of leaked information for Halo Infinite. Xbox has won another award. We know how Forza Motorsport is going to be running on both the Xbox Series X and S. It's extremely impressive on what's going to be able to be done on the Series S. And the Series S in general is just really help push the Xbox platform forward. So Halo Infinite has gotten some leaked footage for the upcoming Forge mode, a mode that I think is going to be just absolutely massive for Halo Infinite for getting just more content out there on a regular basis. We've seen what people can do with Forge mode in previous Halos, and we are hoping that the creation suite for Halo Infinite's Forge is going to be better than ever, and we're seeing some pretty cool stuff here, so let's take a look at it. So first of all, this is a leak from YouTuber Brad Guy 123, and it says here, leaked Halo Infinite Forge gameplay explains the weapons combining feature that allows you to create new weapon abilities. And you can go in here and you can see just all of the different type of stuff that you're going to be able to do in terms of combining weapons with different abilities. Like, for example, this is a battle rifle plus a skewer. And if we keep going forward here, this is a gravity style gun where you're able to kind of move objects, stack them, and just move them around the mode itself. He also shows off here how this kind of works in terms of the scripting, where you can see here that there's like a bunch of different stuff with like declaring the number variable, the weapon type combination, the custom event, and just all this stuff which gives you your final product when you're using these features within Forge. It says here, each of the other script brains represent a weapon combo. They handle the logic of setting a player's weapon. And we go through and there's just a bunch of different combinations, and it gives, I'd say, a pretty hopeful look at what people are going to be able to do within Forge with the different types of weapons they're going to be able to create, combining that with all of the game modes that hopefully are going to be available to be played through the creation of different maps, and just having a ton of fun with the party style games within Halo Infinite. And that was one of two videos. This is another video here, again with the weapons, saying leaked Halo Infinite Forge gameplay of the weapon script feature part 2. Here are more gun combinations that you can create. We have this one here, which I think is pretty damn cool. And this is the plasma pistol with the disruptor. Then we have the skewer and the ravager. Probably a pretty useless one, as I mean, even they say here the most useless weapon I could make, but using those two weapons combined together when they're both completely different in what you're trying to do with them may not be the best. You have the heat wave here and the Hydra. You have the heat wave and the ravager here, which looks pretty cool, with just the amount of destruction this is going to be able to make. Then you have some interesting stuff here with the gravity hammers and energy swords and combinations with this weapon, as well as combinations of the energy sword with the melees of just like a pistol, where it says here, combining the energy sword with guns also changes their melee damage but doesn't affect their bullets. So lots of stuff you're going to be able to do here to just completely enhance the guns that are currently within the game. Again here, the Cinder Shot and the rocket launcher, and then you got the Cinder Shot and Pulse Carbine, and then finally the Sentinel Beam and the Heat Wave. Now this is extremely important for Forge to be good, for people to be able to go in and just create these wacky game modes, these extremely fun game modes with tons of fun different types of weapons. And from what we're seeing so far, it seems people are pretty excited. As we go down here into the comments, and they say Forge is going to be so good when it launches, it will literally save Infinite. And I feel like this is an opinion that a lot of people are holding right now with Forge if they're able to pull it off. This person here says Forge is going to put Infinite above any FPS of the last 10 years. The Cinder Shot combo has to be the coolest one there. The potential this holds, man, I mean, that's one of the big things. There's so much potential to what people are going to be able to do if we get just an incredible Forge mode. Whoa, Forge will be awesome. Can't wait to see what the community will build. Said this before Halo Infinite launched, but if Forge was made to be excessively in-depth with a learning curve, then the lag between it releasing and the masses having high quality maps plus modes that utilize its potential will be a very long time. Not to mention CGB file share, etc. So I mean, that's a good point as well. If it is as in depth as it is looking right now, it's going to be taking a little bit longer to get Forge. We know that we should be getting Forge sometime in season 3 with the Forge open beta, they're saying, and that's, I think, November 8th is the release time for that. But if they are taking their time to give us just an insanely in-depth and customizable Forge mode where we're going to be getting such a benefit from people who are able to just do so many more things than they've been able to do in other Forge modes, it's probably going to be worth the wait, which will push Halo Infinite further, push it higher up, bring people back to the game. That's one big thing that I think they are banking on, is that once they're able to get a lot of these game modes out that they have been taking a long time to work on, people are going to be coming back and they're going to stay hooked with the actual quality of the product that 343 is planning to put out in further seasons. And that's key, because there's doubts right now about Halo Infinite, about 343. Like I've said before, the game itself, the core gameplay is just absolutely incredible. It's a ton of fun. It's a great FPS. It's fun to play. It's, for me, the most fun first-person shooter to play, but there's the amount of content that people are expecting that just hasn't been delivered yet. And then when it comes to other stuff within Halo Infinite, there was a YouTuber called Sean W who leaked a bunch of information about upcoming content for Halo Infinite, including the Battle Royale mode, but take all of this with a grain of salt, because obviously it has not been confirmed. We've heard about the Battle Royale mode being worked on by Certain Affinity. We were still waiting on campaign DLC. We got information on a bunch of this stuff. So firstly, it looks like for the Battle Royale mode, it is going to be coming with 2 OG Halo maps, Halo 2 plus Halo 3, and there's going to be 60 to 75 players that are going to be able to play within this Battle Royale mode in fall of 2023. Currently, there is Last Spartan Standing within Halo Infinite, which is like a smaller BR mode with a gun game implementation to that. When it comes to actual campaign DLC, something that I've been really hoping they were going to give us information on, looks like this isn't going to be coming until after 2024, as Joseph Staten is the lead on the campaign DLC. So another year before we potentially see anything about campaign stuff. Forge is also going to potentially be coming early. Season 3 looks to be 6 months away, which I'm pretty sure that they already confirmed that season 3 is coming on November 8th anyway. But I don't know how that's part of a leak, but yeah, they say here season 3 looks to be 6 months away. And then talking about some other stuff about much further seasons, for example, season 6, they're saying here new non-Spartan core, not elites, plus new weapons. Season 5 will bring vehicle and weapons from classic games, and season 4 looks to bring Infection. And in terms of why things are taking so long, the YouTube video is saying here, corporate gridlock really slowing stuff down, and 343 is still figuring out how to do live services. So they right now have not the best idea how to do that. I mean, this is their really big first foray into the live service game. I don't know how that's really like insider information or a leak. If anything, we know 343, they're jumping into live service really for the first time, and they're trying to figure it all out and trying to figure out the best way to release content. They're experimenting. They've even admitted it themselves that they are having troubles or just more time to sit back and think about what's the best way to implement live service stuff. We know what happened with the prices for the armor cores, where they started the prices of the microtransactions at like $20, brought them down to 12, tried them out again at 17. People weren't having that, so they're probably not going to do that anymore with the price fluctuations. I mean, we'll wait and see what happens, but we know them working on live service, they're trying to figure things out, and that's probably a big reason why the game isn't where it needs to be yet. And hopefully it eventually gets there. This is a long-term game. This is a 10-year game or so. I'm assuming Halo Infinite is going to be a game that lasts pretty much throughout this entire generation, as it is the building blocks for adding more and more content. It's free to play. It's a game that people are going to be continuously playing for years and years to come. So they go ahead and they test stuff out. All right, jumping over here to an award that Xbox won, and it has nothing to do with video games. It actually has to do with the Power On documentary, which they made for the 20th anniversary of Xbox, and they won a Daytime Emmy Award for outstanding single camera editing. Now, this is pretty cool. I watched the documentary. I loved the documentary. I thought it was great. We got lots of insight from big prominent people at Xbox. One of the things that was most interesting to me was when Don Mattrick came on, talked about the failures of the Xbox One and how Xbox is really trying to push to be more broad and to get money from other people who don't only focus on gaming. And they were actually kind of ahead of their time with the Xbox One, which was a big reason why the console actually failed. If you look at what's going on right now in terms of the voice for using your console, what they had with the Kinect, in terms of the actual like DRM stuff that we see today that still most people don't like, all that stuff that they were trying to implement into the Xbox One, pretty much being utilized today in various different areas and in various different ways. So that's one of the big reasons why it's failed. Xbox has always kind of been ahead of their times when you think about all of their generations of consoles. Is think about the OG Xbox with the hard drive, the Xbox Live, the Frenzus, that type of stuff. Think about the Xbox 360, where they were actually successful, but still ahead of the curve in the industry, pushing the industry forward with just improving on Xbox Live with the achievements and just that. You see all that stuff in the consoles today. And then right now you look at where Xbox is going with the ecosystem stuff and the subscription model, and how they were first out there in 2017 with Xbox Game Pass, and now everyone's kind of following in their direction. So very good documentary. If you haven't checked out the Power On, the story of Xbox, highly recommend checking it out. I'm pretty sure it's free to watch pretty much everywhere on YouTube. I think you can find it on the Xbox dashboard and stuff like that. So cool that they have won a Daytime Emmy Award for outstanding single camera editing. All right, let's end things off here talking about Forza Motorsport and the Xbox Series X and S, and just how much of a beast particularly the Xbox Series S is. So there was a June update for Forza Motorsport, and we got confirmation as to how the game is actually going to be running on the Xbox Series X and S. So Forza Motorsport runs at 4K 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X and 1080p 60 FPS on the Xbox Series S. And they are both going to have ray tracing on track, and we know that ray tracing on track means that when you are playing the game, ray tracing is on, as we got that confirmation during the Forza Monthly, where they said they want to make it clear they're not trying to hide it from anybody. When you're playing Forza Motorsport, ray tracing will be on, and I find this extremely impressive that they're going to be able to do this with both the X. I mean, the X is kind of expected, but particularly doing it with the Xbox Series S at 60 frames per second. And the Xbox Series S has been a beast of a console. I absolutely love my Series S. I've said this before in previous videos. I probably play my Series S as much, maybe even a little bit more than my Series X. I have it connected to my monitor. I can play first-person shooters at 120 frames per second, and I can just get great performance out of many other games. And I just love exactly what it does, what it's intended to do, playing on a monitor, a 1080p monitor or 1440p monitor. It's great. And it's also really helped the overall install base for the Xbox ecosystem, as we got some information here about the current position of Xbox when compared to the PlayStation 5. So this is from William D'Angelo, who, as we know, is an analyst and writer at VG Charts. And VG Charts has definitely stepped up their game in terms of actually reporting correct information. When you see their reports and then you see things like the MPD results, they're very close. So you can have more faith in VG Charts, but always, I mean, take things with looking at multiple sources to see what the correct numbers are. But he says here, after 19 months, the PS5 is tracking ahead of the Xbox Series X and S by an estimated 5.07 million units. However, this gap is less than half of what it was last generation. After the same amount of time, the PS4 was ahead of the Xbox One by 10.57 million units after 19 months. And you look at those two numbers, that is a massive difference on how Xbox has stepped it up this generation with making a desirable console that people want to buy, especially with the fact that, yes, Xbox is doing significantly better in Japan this time around, looking like they're going to track similar to the Xbox 360, maybe even better than the Xbox 360. But the fact that they only sell 1, maybe 2 million units in that region, Xbox is doing extremely well. And the other thing is obviously the consoles not being their main thing. They just want you into their ecosystem. This is a very great number, and the Xbox Series S itself is playing a huge role in this because, one, it's a desirable console. Two, it's helping reduce the amount of stock shortage because it is definitely far more available, and people walk into stores, they see the Xbox Series S, and they see that they can play all of these games via Xbox Game Pass. Soon they're going to be able to see that they're going to be able to play Call of Duty at 120 frames per second, a part of Xbox Game Pass. All they got to do is pick up an Xbox Series S. You're going to see that console sell even more crazy than it is right now. But all in all, the Series S itself, absolutely love it. We're going to be getting Forza Motorsport with the ray tracing on the Series S, and is also helping push Xbox forward in terms of getting more people in to the platform. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all of that Halo leaked information. What do you think about the Power On documentary winning that Daytime Emmy Award? And what are your thoughts on the Xbox Series S in particular being able to have ray tracing running at 60 FPS for Forza Motorsport and its overall value to Xbox as a console? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.